Hello, hello, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Hey, bread monsters, how are you doing? Hola, hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo te va? Hello, welcome to the stream. So, how are you doing? How is everyone doing? I hope you're doing fine. I'm doing pretty fantastic things. That sounds good. So, we're back for more Voyager dev streams. Okay. So yeah, I was supposed to be streaming yesterday, and I was going to stream yesterday, but I had to stay for like a little extra time working on my main job, so yeah, it was too late for me afterwards to start the stream. So yeah, I had to basically postpone the stream, but luckily I am able to stream today. Yeah, no worries, it's all good. Okay, so that's great then. That's great. Okay, we forgive you. Okay, all good then. So yeah, let's get into some Voyager dev, shall we? So let's take a look at what we were doing in the previous stream, which was on Wednesday. So we were basically refactoring or refactorizing or whatever. Glad to see Harry Potter live. Do you think I look like Harry Potter? Do I really look like Harry Potter? Could be, I don't know. So we were basically doing a pretty big refactor to the interaction system. Without glasses, you look like Hulk, to be honest. Hulk? Which one? The old one or the new one? There's many actors that did the Hulk role, I think, so I don't know which one. New one? I don't know if I know the actor, but I'll take it as a compliment, so thank you. I guess. I don't even know. Yeah. So yeah, the interaction area. We have this, which is basically an object, an empty object that contains this script. And this script is prepared to basically be... it has some parameters that we can change here, and we then can press this little checkbox here and it will just add a collider, okay, with the corresponding properties, and then we can add whatever tag we want for this collider to interact with, okay? So that's the whole idea. So we have that, okay? And then after that, based on this system, we created the hitbox component, okay, and the hurtbox component. So this system is basically for the interaction system. I'm using the observer pattern, which is in essence, this script is going to detect some other interaction area, okay, other triggers or other colliders that are here specified in this list, and then it's going to fire an event. That's it. So that whatever system or user for this is going to listen to that event and then do something about the interaction. I'm fighting between making in Unity a horror game or platformer, but I can't decide. Why no? Why not both? That's the question. You can add some platforming elements and then some like horror sections. Well, the thing is, well, I think it doesn't matter if it's like 2D or 3D, but yeah, I don't see why you couldn't do both. I mean, you just have to use some imagination. But yeah, I would say it's a lot easier to make a platformer instead of a horror game. I don't even know how should it work. Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting idea to mix like those genres, but I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I think it's a bit easier to make a platformer. Yeah, I don't know. I never made a horror game. I did play some horror games, and yeah, I don't know. You have to. I think there's like maybe in terms of like actions and systems, maybe the horror game is simpler. Well, it depends on like depends on what kinds of things you want to add to the game and what kind of gameplay you want. So there's many different like sub-genres. I might just do a horror game. Yeah, that's a good choice. Of course. But yeah, it really depends on, for example, do you want the character to be able to attack? That's one question. So like, is it more like a Resident Evil game, or is it more like what's the other like Amnesia, for example, or I can't remember the name of this game. The one where you're like in a oh man, I can't remember the freaking name of the game. I will have to search for that game. What the hell is the name of that game? Silent Hill. Oh my god, I can't even remember. Well, Alien Isolation is a really good one. But it's the one where you are like a guy documenting like the whole thing. You're using your camera and you're like in some kind of asylum, I think, and you have to collect batteries to recharge your camera. I can't remember the name. But yeah, Amnesia is a really good example of like a game that you don't use weapons, you don't attack, you just escape and hide and stuff like that. Man, I just started, so I got no idea. Maybe I'll play it with some codes and try to come up with something. Yeah, of course. But yeah, I think it is important for you to ask those questions before starting to create the game, because those questions are the ones that are going to guide you through the actual things you need to actually implement and code into the game. But if you want to do it like a freestyle it, I don't know. Oh man, let me see if I can find it, because whatever. Slender. Man, it's like it doesn't even matter for the like topic or for the conversation, but I'm trying to find the freaking game I'm thinking of. Well, this is another horror game that with like an interesting mechanic. Resident Evil 4, Left 4 Dead, Outlast, this one. Okay, man. My brain is just, I don't know. So this is the game I was talking about, Outlast. You don't, it's first person view, but you don't attack, you don't have weapons, you only have your camera, and you have to explore things and like explore the asylum and whatever, and escape. So yeah. But whatever idea you come up with, I'm interested to see that. That would be great. You can share it in the Discord if you want. So, and you also can get some feedback there. For example, if you send some, like, oh, I have this idea for this game and whatever, you can send it to the Discord and you can get some feedback if you want to, of course. So I have this, which is my task list, okay? And I'm pretty much done with every task here. So separate interactions into their own layer. So let me show you, for example, interaction area is under the layer called interactions, okay? I have a layer for that. Now, what's this? So this is basically the layers you can use in Unity, okay? You have 32 layers only. So that's why I'm basically just using one layer for every interaction in the game. Okay. Maybe I'll do a platformer because I like it better than horror games. I hate changing, but it's a bad habit. Yeah, I mean, you can basically just say, for example, if today you have some time to play around with your idea, you can just sit down and say, okay, I'll just for 10 minutes, I'll try to think of an idea of a horror game. You think about the story, the main character, and what like the progression of the game feels like, okay? So what do you do in the game? Like, for example, okay, you have to go to a haunted castle and explore the castle and find a chest, I don't know, and then get out of the castle because a vampire is chasing you. I don't know, it's just a silly idea, but you think of an idea first for the horror game, and then you sit down like for another 10 minutes and think about a platformer idea, for example. So you think about, okay, so how do I want the platformer game to look like? Is it like Sonic? Is it like Mario? Is it like, I don't know. And then what kind of character do I want? What kind of mechanics do I want? Do I want the character to be able to jump and like jump off walls? And do I want the character to have some kind of like grappling hook to grab to platforms and swing and stuff like that? So, and I'm like thinking in different terms for each one of the ideas, because in horror games the mechanic is often really simple. It's just you move around and explore, and like you go through the story, and the main thing in the horror game is basically just the story and you hiding and escaping and avoiding being catched by the enemy. But then in platformer games, it depends on, like, for example, what kind of thing you want to make. Do you want to make just a simple thing where you just can run and jump and just go from point A to point B and that's it? So yeah, that's at least how I think about it. I plan and think about what I'm gonna make. Be right back. Okay, gotcha. Hey, personal Hattie, how are you doing? Yeah, of course I remember you. How's it going? Welcome. So I can just get rid of this hippos layer because I'm not going to use it anymore. Okay. Then I have a couple other layers there, and I'm not sure like why. I think I have this world layer, which is for the world collisions, and then player is, I think, for the same reason, but I'm thinking that I'm going to start like changing Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. It's really been a while. So yeah. Okay, my hair is not awesome, but whatever. Yeah, it's fine there, I think. So yeah, I have this other layer called entity, and I don't know what other use I could give to these layers, but the thing is, for physical interactions, I'm using this one, and I'm only using that one. And if for some reason I need to change or to add a new layer, I just add it and that's it. But I want to get rid of all the layers that I don't need. So yeah, all of the other layers are going to be used just for camera cooling. Okay, so the camera can be configured to look at specific layers, and I can say, okay, the main camera can only see player, and that's it, and you're not going to see anything but the player. So that's really useful if you want to use other cameras to do other visual tricks or stuff like that. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be using the other layers for. Now I have this one which is already being used. This one is being used, which is called pixelator. This layer is being used for the pixelator system, which of course is for pixelating stuff that is not pixelated from the get-go. So for example, planet sprites such as this, okay, you can see them and you can tell that they are not pixelated, okay? They are made by shaders, okay? And I'm pixelating them afterwards. So when I play, in runtime, I have a camera that looks specifically to this sprite and then bakes that texture into another sprite, and then I replace the original sprite with the pixelated one. So that's what's happening now. It's not the most optimal way to do this at all, not even close. So I might need to change that in the future, but for now this is working and it's completely fine, I think. So basically having multiple cameras is expensive. So yeah, each new camera is more and more expensive. So I should try to avoid using multiple cameras, but yeah, for now this is the only thing I'm using. And I'm not going to be using the pixelator system for a lot of things, just for mainly procedural things that are generated in runtime. So for example, dynamically. So planet sprites are generated with a shader. They are generated in runtime and they are animated, as you can see here. Okay, you can see that they have this animation, okay? So it looks like it's rotating and also the clouds are moving. So for this kind of things, I'm going to be using the pixelator system, but then for example, for the space background that you can see this thing, the stars and stuff like that, they don't need to be pixelated in post-processing because I'm already drawing them in pixel art basically. So that's it. Okay, so that's the thing with the layers. Hey Ciala, how are you doing? Welcome. So for now I'm just not going to remove any layers just in case. Okay, but I did remove one that I knew that I could remove, so yeah. But now it's much cleaner, and you can see here in the project settings, this is the collision matrix, and you can see that everything, all of the things are disabled, okay? that's really good because we only need physical interactions in the interaction layer. Okay, interactions layer is going to interact with itself, and that's it. And this is really good because you can imagine that Unity, the engine, is going to, like the physics engine in Unity, is going to start like reading all of the interactions, and the more interaction you have, of course, the more cycles that Unity has to go through to read all of the of the layers that are interacting. So if we only have one, that's like just one layer to the power of one. So that's one. Okay, that's perfect. That's the most optimal thing. Okay, that's the idea. So so yeah, that's point number one, and we already have that done. We had this script which I did like a couple years ago, which is like in essence was like something similar to this, to the interaction area thing that I have now, but it was like it had some dependencies and like stuff that wasn't relevant to the class, and it was making it less abstract. And the idea is that the interaction area is as abstract as possible, so that it only does one thing and that's it, and it doesn't have any dependencies. It can work by itself. So if you put it in the player, it works. If you put it in the enemy, if you put it in a tree, if you put it in a planet, okay, the idea is that it's completely modular and you can use it wherever you want, and it's just to detect interactions, okay? So triggering or colliders entering in contact. That's basically it. And we already have this done, okay? So we can remove this too, and then refactor hitbox system with the new interaction area class. That's also already done. So that's what we did in the previous stream. So like I showed just now, we have this hurtbox, which is a prefab variant of the original interaction area prefab that contains the interaction area class that's going to do the same thing as always, but also I've added a new script called hurtbox, and this script is going to fire a different kind of event that's going to transfer some more complex data that has to do with damage interactions, okay? So interaction area fires an event. I can show you in the code, it's going to be easier, okay? So this is the event we are using, like that interaction area is firing. It only tells you what kind of interaction there was, and it tells you the information of what's the other interaction area that it interacted with, okay? So that's great. Okay, perfect. And now if I go to the hurtbox script, you can see that we have another event here that's called onReceived hit, and this one is sending other kind of information, which is damage info. Damage info is going to contain the information about like the damage value, so how much HP should I decrease from the entity, and also other information that we talked about in the past, which is, for example, any like, what's the name of this system? So for example, a buff or a debuff. So for example, let's say the player has a gun or like a pistol or whatever weapon that when it hits the enemy, it applies poison, so that the enemy is going to lose HP over time for 10 seconds, let's say. So that information is going to go under this class. And that's great because then when this event is fired, then the enemy is going to listen to that event and is going to say, okay, what information do I have here in the damage info class? Okay, I have this and that and that and that. Okay, so that's essentially what we were doing. Although the hitbox and hurtbox class is just we just implemented it just to have the most basic form for this, because we only need the interaction area for our current main goal, which is this, what you're already seeing in the scene. So you see this big like turquoise circle here. This is the interaction area for the planets, and when you enter that area, you are going to be prompted with the planet name and like a guide for yeah, just a little prompt that tells you the planet name and what button you need to press to land on the planet. Okay? Okay. So yeah, let's try the system. Let's actually try the system, because I already have this implemented. Well, now I think my next task is going to be okay, so this is our current task now. Okay, that's good. So oh man, it's a bit hot here. Okay, so let's go to the actual planet prefab. Now we have this interaction area, okay? And this is for, like I said, this is just for detecting the player and prompting the planet name and the input that you need to land. Okay, so pixelator bake. Okay, so I'm thinking. Let me see, because I kind of want to like rearrange the structure of the prefab a little bit. So yeah, I have the sprite systems colliders. Actually, I should call this interaction. Yeah, that's better. Okay, great. Now I think I should copy this and put it inside the entity prefab. The entity prefab is basically like the entity prefab is basically the base prefab for every entity in the game. Okay, so enemies or like NPCs or whatever are going to derive from this prefab. They are going to be variants of the prefab. So yeah, that's why I kind of want to structure the prefabs in like the same way. And yeah, so I also should like make the astronaut prefab already a variant of entity prefab, but yeah, right now I don't have it set up like that, and it's, I don't know, I'm going to break so much stuff if I do that now, so I don't want to work on that right now because our goal right now is different. So yeah, now I'm going to call this interaction. Okay, and here under senses we have the interaction area. Okay, physics call, we have hurtbox and we have hitbox. Okay, that's amazing. So perfect. So that's good. Now we can basically go here and enter the prefab. Okay, and then this should be called sprite. I don't know why I called it planet sprite. I don't know, but yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm going to call it sprite. Then I'm going to create a new kind of like folder. Okay, it's going to be called interactions or interaction, the same way that I did like the interaction folder for the things in the entity prefab. Okay, the same structure. We're trying to maintain that same structure so that we have like a common language for like how to structure the things, each system and each prefab and object in the game. So here, for example, we can say interaction. Now I don't know if I should call it like this or maybe put it like the whatever name and then like this interaction area. I'm not sure, but because that's kind of what I'm doing here, and I think I should do it this way. So maybe let's go to entity and rename this as basics and then interaction area. Okay. Then hurtbox and hitbox, whatever, it's fine. Now astronaut, I'm going to do the same thing. So this should be that, and then so this is ledge detector. Okay, perfect. Now here, back to the planet script, not script, planet prefab. Now here, this should be something like astronaut detector. Okay, so okay. So if I go here now, under planet, is not this, is it? Celestial object underscore planet. So what's the difference with this? Oh yeah, I know. So this should be called planet system instead of planet. That's one thing. But this, I already have another script called planet system, so maybe I should like make those one thing, but we're not working on that yet. So I have to go to the script called celestial object underscore planet. Okay. So Okay, so I can remove this, it seems like. Perfect. Now, celestial object. This, like the planet, celestial object. I'm pretty much lurking while working on my prototype. Sounds good. Sounds good. That's great. Which prototype are you working on? The ice. What's the name of your game? Icebreaker Crew. That's a cool name. Icebreaker. Yeah. That's really good. That's cool. So yeah, I'm thinking that I have this class called celestial object, okay, and this inherits from background object, okay. Now, I'm not sure if I really want this to be this way. So in terms of like background object, this is fine, because you can see here background object has the renderer, it has the pixelator to make it pixelated if we need to. Then we have the background plane where it belongs, that's also good. So we have this event on sprite set. We have this to initialize the background object. We have this to set the sprite, set planet. Well, this shouldn't be here at all. This should only be, well, where is this being called? Background plane? Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Why am I doing this here? Set planet. Oh, I know what this is. Yeah, it's something I'm going to have to to refactor this later. So yeah. Now, celestial object is not doing anything at all. And like, I think this might have like some stuff. For example, celestial object is for planets and floating islands, and for example stuff that's going to be in the sky or like in space. So here, for example, in the space scene, let me show you really quick. When Unity finishes loading, whatever. So here you can see in space we're going to have, for example, the actual star, which would be the equivalent to the sun, for example. This is going to be a celestial object. Then we're going to have the planets, but then like there's going to be other stuff, such as, for example, hey Lou. Hi, how you doing? Hey. So for example, we're going to have other kinds of things. For example, like, I don't know, space stations can be like defined as celestial objects. Then, for example, we can have floating islands or asteroids, like big asteroids, or I don't know, whatever that thing that belongs in the sky, okay, like in space, and it's like an object that's floating there. That's going to be a celestial object, okay? That's my idea. That's why I created that class. So I'm thinking that maybe there's going to be some like common logic that they are going to share. That's why I created this class. And then planet is, of course, a class that derives from that. And it, since it's a planet, it needs the planet properties in order to set the actual like texture and shader to the planet sprite. Okay, so now the other thing I'm thinking now is that there's I think I should create an interface for landable objects. So in the space scene, okay, yeah, actually, let me just go ahead and just create the actual interface. So I think that should be here in space, because you can land on stuff that's in space, of course. So so where the hell should I put this? I have planetary system, I have constellations, sol, stars, starfield, vacuum. I don't have planet here. Planet is its own thing. So planetary system scripts, planetary system UI, whatever. So I'm just going to create it here, and then I'm going to see where I can put it in order, like in terms of folder organization or whatever. It doesn't matter right now. So this should be called iLandable. Okay, and this is going to be an interface that is going to be used by any thing that can be landable. Okay, so whatever thing you can land on with your starship while you're in space. That's it. We're going to keep it simple. Also, I want to see if here Unity has create mono behavior scriptable object empty C# script playable. What the hell is a playable? Okay, whatever. So now let's go here and go here. So now I think this is the second time I'm working with interfaces. I'm not really familiar with interfaces, but I know what they are for, and I think this is a good use case for an interface. Now, I don't really know how to create it, so I think it's just that. Okay, yeah, I think that's what it needs. And like I can just remove this, of course. Now this interface is going to need the interaction area, of course. So public interaction area. So I'm going to call this lander detector. Okay, so that's good. That's good. Now, why is this bad? Interfaces cannot contain instance fields. Okay, that's interesting. So it seems like interfaces cannot contain instance fields. So I can't have variables in an interface. Huh. Okay. Okay, so in any case, what I do know that I need is to have a method, okay, called on land. Okay, do I have to do it like this? Yeah, I think so. So the interface is going to have this onLand method. So the difference between a regular class and an interface is that an interface is just for defining methods that need to be implemented, okay, for whatever user of this interface. This method is going to, it has to be implemented, okay? And each type of thing is going to implement it in a different way, okay? Now, I'm trying to think like why I want to use an interface instead of a regular class, and like so yeah, let me just go to let's go here and to open up. Oh yeah, I can just open whatever thing here. So this is what I'm thinking, okay? I have the thing called well, I can do it in Figma. So yeah, let's go there and just try to explain what I'm trying to do. So I have this, which is a landable. Okay, what is a landable? A landable is basically how can I reduce the font size easily? So whatever, I'm just going to do this. Okay, so a landable is an so let's do this. Okay, set it to 5 then. Okay. So a landable is basically, a landable is an object that any entity with a starship can land on. Okay? So that's a landable. Now, what does a landable need? Okay, what does it need? And I'm just going to frame all of this. Okay. Now, what does a landable need? So a landable needs so it needs an interaction area to detect the entity that's going to land on it. It needs that. It needs, well, first I need to describe how it works. So for that, I'm going to say it listens to okay, so how does it work? It detects any entity that can land on it, and when an entity enters its area, that entity can start landing. Okay, that's the idea. Then what does it need? It needs the interaction area to detect the entity. Okay. It needs an interaction area to detect possible landers. It needs a method. So method to show a method to enable that entity to land after it enters the area. Okay, that's one thing. Then method to show so this is specific to the player. So it's not the same thing when any other entity interacts with the landable thing. So let me explain really quick. So what I'm doing basically is that any object that has the landable property, okay, it's going to allow any entity to land on that thing, okay, whether it's a planet, a space station, a floating island, or whatever thing that you can land. Okay, you're in a starship and then you can land on that thing. Now that it's not only for the player but also for other kinds of entities. Okay, so so for example, imagine that we have an enemy, okay, and the enemy starship also wants to go to this planet. That would be really interesting to see. So you can see like other starships landing in any planet. That's really cool, because then if that enemy lands on the planet, you can go there and find that enemy and fight with the enemy. Okay, that's really cool. Or for example, you can see like an NPC that's going like around and whatever, and then decides to enter here and land on the planet too. So I think that's pretty interesting. So that's why I'm not limiting the landable property, like the logic, to only be used for by the player, but also by any other entity. Okay, so for that I'm just trying to design this thing and think about what we need. Okay, so let's think about whenever an entity enters the area, I need to be able to allow that entity to land. Okay, then if that entity is the player, it should be different. Like it should also notify the UI so that it shows you like, because you're the entity now that's entering the area, so now you want like the UI to show you the planet name and to prompt the input. Okay, that's not going to happen when any other entity enters the area, but the system is going to detect other entities entering that area, and then it's going to allow them to land. Basically, that's what I'm thinking. Now, should I be thinking about this that way. I'm just trying to think if that's like the most optimal way to think about this. Because like what I'm thinking is it worth it for this system to be detecting anything other than the player, so that it, like for example, so that enemies or whatever other entity goes here and lands on this planet? Like, maybe that's not the best way to think about this, because I also could do something like, for example, like a specific logic for other entities that are not the player, and just like give them an instruction to say, okay, go to this planet and land here. So yeah, that's something I'm thinking about. Yeah, I think it should be fine, because we're not talking about like hundreds of interactions at all. So yeah, I think this should work for whatever entity, not only for the player. Okay, so let's see, let's check that. So method to enable that entity to land after it enters the area. Now and then I was going to write method to show like to prompt the player with the name of this thing and the input that they need to press to land on the thing. Okay, but should this be like something that this does, or should this be something that each thing implements separately? I think that should be something that the player processes. I think, yeah, I think that's going to be the best way, because how I'm thinking about this is, let's remove this and let's think about anything that could use this. So can be used by, so in this case it can be used by planets, can be used by floating island, can be used by asteroids, can be used by space stations, etc. Okay, so in this case, if we think about this for a moment, now how would I implement each one of these things? Probably they maybe are going to be like celestial objects, right? Because they are going to be in the same layer as the planet, or maybe not that far away. Well, I think, yeah, they should be that far, but maybe like, yeah, so I should use the same logic I'm using to implement the planets and stuff like that, so that we have like a common language in that sense. So if you think about those other objects in the same way we're thinking about the planet right now, if I go here and say, okay, so now planet also has the interface islandable. Okay, so now the planet has to implement the this method. Now the thing is, this method should be triggered, not this one, but there's another method which is like this method on detected possible lander. So that should be called whenever any entity that can land on the on that thing, there at that moment this should be called, okay? And this is going to inform some stuff, okay, depending on whatever. Now what I'm thinking is that for example here, celestial object, should this, like this class celestial object is not for any, like for all of the landable objects in space, because there might be something that's not landable but it still is a celestial object, such as for example the actual star, okay? Okay, so Unity, okay, you're seeing me double now. Okay, that's good now. So for example here, this, like the actual star in the system, is a celestial object, but it's not landable. You cannot land on that star, on this thing, okay? That's the thing. But you can land on the planet. That's why I don't want this class to implement the landable interface, okay? But the thing is, I'm thinking that I maybe should create another class that inherits from celestial objects and also inherits, and it's called like landable object. And then this class, celestial object planet, this class is the one that's going to inherit from landable object. And landable object is the class that's going to implement this interface. Okay, so let's do that and let's see if that makes sense. I think it should, but let's see. So let's go to the project folders and let's go to, where is the, okay, here. So under celestial objects, yeah, I should put this script under celestial objects. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so now save, I guess. Landable, okay, that's perfect. And now here, well, what's happening now? Global namespace on land, oh, whatever. Landable, oh, there's two now. Okay, so I have to remove this one. It duplicated the file, that's so dumb, but yeah, happens. So now under celestial objects we have this interface, landable, okay, that's perfect. Also there could be other things that are not celestial objects that are landable, but we're going to avoid that from now. I'm talking about maybe, for example, like frigates, like big starships, like big ships, like for example those like big cargo ships where you can land and then like the interior of that big ship is like you can navigate inside that thing, but I don't know, I'm not thinking about that right now, so we'll see. For now we're just going to have this celestial objects thing, but now I would basically create a new script called landable object. Okay. Now, should this be called object or place? It's not a place. I think I'm just going to call it landable object because it's the easiest name I can think of right now. And that's going to be fine, okay? Okay, that's perfect. I don't really like my hair right now. It's like so messy, but yeah, whatever. So now we have a landable object, and this should have, well, I'm seeing that this is not even using any of those things, so I'm just going to remove those. I'm just going to copy all of this and this is going to inherit from celestial object. Okay, that's perfect. So another thing I'm thinking about right now is that maybe celestial object could just have like one boolean that is landable, and that's it. But I think this is cleaner, like this way is cleaner, so that this class only has like a few things and all of the things that it really needs and does, and then I have this other class. So, okay. So now, what I need here is to implement this interface. Okay, I didn't want to do that. Implement interface. What? Oh, I only have one. Okay. Undetect possible lander. Okay. Now this, I think this, let me think about this. What's the best way of implementing this? So now you can see that I have like both of these methods here, and the thing is that this like both methods, well, not both, but this one is going to be called whenever can I make it? Yeah, it has to be public, it seems like. So I'm not really sure about that, but whatever, we'll see later if this makes sense. So for now we're just going to say we're going to create regions. Okay, variables and region, and then I'm going to create more regions. Okay, so now so this is the region for implementing those things. Then this one is for runtime. Okay, perfect. Now on enable, on disable. I think background object already has, yeah, it already has this, so I should override those. What the region in C# do? So this is just for separation, so for visual separation. I have a little extension for VS Code that adds this little like purple background, so that for me it's visually more of a separation, but for the region it's so that you can compact it like this, like collapse it. Yeah, you can fold them, so that's the idea. Like the purple thing is not like the default thing, it's an extension I have, but you can fold them like this. It's really good. You're welcome, no problem. So yeah, they're really useful. I really like using regions. So in this case, I have to override on enable and also on disable, because I need to have I need to have a reference to the interaction area. Okay, and this is going to be called lander detector. Okay, this is an interaction area that's going to detect the possible landers. Okay, and then on trigger, I'm going to call. Now, here's the thing. I'm thinking about a couple things. So this method here, I'm thinking if this could be like already with the parameters that this event implements, or if I should create another method and then that method is going to call this. So this on detect possible lander, whether I do all of the logic here to check if it's a real lander entity. So I have to do that if it's an entity lander, then blah blah blah. Okay, so if it's not a lander or an entity that can land, then it's going to do nothing. Okay, but if it is an entity, then it should do some logic. Okay, and that logic is going to be basically just informing that entity that it can land on that landable object. Okay, so how are we going to do that? I don't know yet. We're going to see. So yeah, what I was thinking is, should I do the check logic also here, or should I create another method for that? So I could do something for example, like on detect. Okay, so I could do something like that on detect entity, and then this method is the one that's going to check whether the interaction type is enter or exit. So if the interaction type is enter, then it's going to check if event type is enter, or maybe I should do the other way around. If it's not enter, then we return. Okay, then we should also check if so from here we should check if this is an entity. Okay, the thing that the thing that contains the interaction area, we need to check if it's an entity or not. So how do we do that? That's a good question. So let's think about this for a moment. The only thing that's happening with the interaction area is that whenever it detects something, it is going to just fire this event on trigger, okay, which is here in this method. Okay, close this. And it's going to grab the other interaction area and is going to invoke the method and just pass this as a parameter, as well as the type of interaction, the interaction type, okay, which in this case can be enter, stay, or exit. So let's think about this for a moment. Because there's a couple of ways I could access the actual entity that's behind the interaction area. Okay. And I'm trying to think about how that interaction check should be, because like every time an interaction area enters another interaction area, there's going to be some like get component thing going on. Because for example, I can just show you something here. One thing I could do, for example, is say entity, okay? Entity, and I'm going to equal this to other.getComponent in parent entity. Okay, so that's one way of checking. So now here I can say if entity equals null, then we return. So this is one way of checking if this is an entity or not. So we try to get the entity component in the parent game object. So that's one thing we could do. But I'm trying to think of like the most optimal way to do this, because like there's another option I'm thinking about, which is here in the interaction area we could have, but yeah, I don't think this is the best idea. So I could have something like entity, and I could have a method that like adds an entity to this like to this instance. Okay, so whenever the interaction area is initialized, for example, the astronaut can grab or any entity can grab the interaction areas that it has and just initialize them, adding the entity variable, okay, the reference to itself, to the entity. But to be honest, I don't think this is the cleanest way to do this. But also, I don't really know if like doing this is the cleanest way, because I would be needing to do this. I would need to do this in like a lot of other places. For example, if a projectile hits the enemy, or for example the enemy like with a melee attack hits the player, then what's gonna happen there? Like the hitbox is going to inform the other hurtbox. But yeah, in that case, that's the thing. In that case, the hitbox and hurtbox systems are already going to be like, it's an implied thing that they belong to an entity, because there's like or not an entity, but maybe like something that can receive damage. So yeah, trying to think about this in the most modular way, it's not really easy. So I think I should do this like I should do it this way for now. So yeah, I think this is going to be the thing I need to do right now. So now for now, I'm just going to say debug.log detected entity dot entity like ID dot name, entity name. Okay, so Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to try this, and for this I have to go here. Okay, so now, oh yeah, so now celestial object underscore planet should inherit from landable object. Okay, that's something new. And now the script is going to have a new variable, like a new field for a reference. Okay, so if I go into the prefab, okay, and then assign this there, now we have the yeah, instead of calling it astronaut detector, I'm going to call it lander detector. Okay, so that's great. That's perfect. So yeah, I think that's good. Now I'm going to try actually, like, do I need anything else? I don't think so. So I think I can just go here, hit play, and just go to try going to a planet. Let's see. So I'm there. Let's go to this one, or to, yeah, that one is fine. It's a big planet. At some point I should be detecting the thing. I didn't detect the thing. Oh yeah, I know why that's the case. That's because this lander detector should be detecting not only the player but any entity. So yeah, and I also should create a new tag called yeah, why do I have this? I think it's for finding the starship. I'm going to remove this tag and I'm going to add a new one called entity. Okay, so here, instead of having this, I'm going to have I have to go to the game engine, and I have to define the tags. Where the hell are the tags defined? Game tags. So yeah, here it is. Okay, great. So now here I should also have the entity tag. Okay, perfect. Okay, so this is going to detect player and also entity. That's great. Okay, good. So let's go back and let's go to oh yeah, I should go here and also, like, I'm going to comment this and I'm going to go to the interaction area. Okay, and I'm going to, because like I think they need to have a rigid body, I'm pretty sure, in order to detect the collisions and stuff, because they're not going to be static like the interaction areas. Some of them can be inside like the another like entities that have a rigid body usually, but yeah, let's try this first. So interaction area, let's go here, and whatever interaction, I'm going to do this. So detected. Just going to log that. I'm going to see if this is working at all, because I implemented the whole interaction system and I didn't test it, not even once. That was not good. So here, instead of astronaut starship, I'm going to call it player. Okay, and here, you know what? I want to change the actual name of this tag. I'm going to call it astronaut. Okay, that's good. Yeah, I think it's I should be testing this now, like right now. Oh yeah, I need to add another tag called astronaut. Okay, perfect. So now this should be there, and I should apply to prefab astronaut starship. Now this is not the astronaut, but whatever. So this is an entity, isometric interaction, physics. Yeah, I'm going to go inside this thing, and I'm going to actually modify the colliders. Okay, so I should disable this just for a moment, like right last week. Yeah, I should have tested this system a while ago. But yeah, but I think I finished implementing it yesterday, so it's not a big deal. And there's like not a lot of things involved, so if whatever thing is broken, I think I should be able to fix it really quickly. So yeah. So now this radius, I'm going to set it to 0 because I don't need that. Now this physics thing, I think I don't need this physics thing, but yeah, I'm going to use it anyway for now. Now the offset should be on 0. It shouldn't have any offset. It should be 0.1 and 0.1. That's too small. And also, you know what? I think I should make it actually a circle. So yeah, what the hell is... Oh yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have the reference. So yeah. And it should be solid, and it should detect whatever. I'm going to call it ground for now, but I'm going to create it. During physics, rear contact, animation, blah blah blah. Okay, whatever. So I'm just going to remove this. And I'm going to apply it. Well, this is not good, man. Whatever. The radius is going to be 0.2. Yeah, that's actually not bad. Let's make it smaller just for now. 0.14, maybe 0.12. That's good. Okay, that's better. Now the hurt box, yeah, it should also not have like 0.14 and 0.14. Yeah, that's too small, I think. And I'm also thinking that I should make this one a circle too. So yeah, going to do this. I'm going to destroy, like, to remove this component. And this, the radius is going to be the same. I think 0.14. Yeah, it should be a bit bigger so it doesn't feel too weird when we get hit. 16. Yeah, I think that could work. Okay. And the hitbox, whatever, we don't use any hitbox. So now we have this set up, which is really good. And now the thing is physics interaction area. Okay. And we have a hurt box. Now the thing is, I think I should be using this collider for the starship to be detected. So I'm just going to say player, not player, astronaut. Okay. And I should do the same thing in the astronaut. Okay. So here I should set it to astronaut actually. So now this collider is going to be used for detecting when the astronaut enters any kind of area or whatever. And also for the entity, I should do the same thing. So yeah, I think that's why it wasn't working. So this should be tagged as entity. Okay. Okay, that's perfect. Now I should be getting the logs, okay, when I'm entering the area of a planet. So let's see how that works. We have a planet right below us. I don't think you can see that. Yeah, seems like it's working. Now, why am I getting so many okay, so why did I get so many enter calls? It was weird. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, why is it being called so many times? That's weird. Is it because it's detecting like, oh, okay, I think I know what's happening. So if I enter, okay, 8 and 8. So I think it's because it's detecting like both colliders. So let's go to the starship. So we have the we have two colliders here, okay. Well, but okay, it's weird because this should be detecting ground and this should be detecting hitbox. What's happening here? And also I didn't even enter yet. So what the hell is happening? Is it because it's also moving? So now it was called twice, now 2 more times. So let's see if this is called like again. I don't know, it's really weird. Okay, why? That's weird. When I'm in hyperspeed, it gets like, this is called a lot of times, and I don't know why. It's really, really weird. What could be happening here? What the hell? 200 times. Why is that the case? Like, what? Why is that happening? That's really weird. I should be like, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to say detected and I'm going to say other. Well, this doesn't work. The transform.parent.parent.name. Okay, so now we're going to see which colliders are interacting. Okay, let's see. Okay, so celestial object detected planet, celestial object 3 detected isometric entity. Okay, so there's like 2 of each one because each one is detecting. Okay, now if it's is filter tag, I'm going to go here and I'm going to debug.log only if it's under the filters. So let's see now. Oh, I didn't want to pause it. Okay. Okay, let's see. I'm going to hit play and I'm going to test again. See if I understand what's happening. Let's go down there. Okay, I went like right past the actual planet. Okay, so it detected only once here. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, but what's happening there? Like, why is it detecting it as if it was like entering and exiting all the time? It's really weird. So that's why I think I should add a rigid body to this. Let's see what happens if I add a rigid body. Not that, I want a 2D1, so it's going to be kinematic. Okay, simulator, collision detection is going to be continuous, and interpolate, whatever, I'm not going to set anything there, and freeze rotation, or yeah, I don't need to do that. Layer overrides, whatever. Okay, let's see if now if it works better now. It should, but I don't know. Let's see. And I'm going to be here for a little bit longer and then I'm going to be done. Okay, so yeah, let's see what happens. Let's go there. So why is this like, okay, 3 and 2, why is that the case? Okay, so now I think it's better, but I don't understand why it did detect it like a couple times. You have yeah, so this one is fine, like it's counting like and adding and whatever every frame, so that's fine because I have this which is on trigger stay, so whenever the player is inside the area, this is going to be called every frame, so that's fine. Now the thing I don't understand is why the other ones are being called multiple times. So let me show you. Like here, you can see like the actual area of this planet is pretty much identical to the, almost identical to the actual size of the planet. Maybe you do an extra move in the same frame for hyperspeed, I mean cold move. Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe this is a problem with the Unity physics. It could be that. So when I enter hyperspeed, for some reason, like I exited there, and this was called only once. This is interaction area at line 96. So line 96 is on trigger exit. That's perfect. That was called only once, but for some reason when I entered the area of the planet, did you see that? It was called like a lot of times. I don't know why. And there again, so sometimes it gets called once, and sometimes it gets called like I don't know, multiple times, and I don't understand why that's the case. Oh man, that's really annoying, because that's I think that's just an engine problem. I don't know if I can do anything about it. Can you just fix the I am already in, so we might see the real problem? What do you mean by fix it? So like, oh yeah, I understand what you're saying. So yeah, so yeah, there's an improvement I could do to this class, and I think I should do this improvement, and that is that this class should hold a list of the other interaction areas that are inside of the area. So that means whatever other trigger entered but didn't exit. So but I don't know if that's going to solve the problem, because yeah, I don't know. I don't know why this is calling the enter. I don't know. It's really weird. Check if the collision system on Unity already has it. No, I don't think it has it already. That's why this system exists like this. So these functions, like on collision enter, on collision stay, blah blah, those are from the Unity actual engine. So those are not made by me. Those are events that get called whenever a trigger interacts with another trigger. That's it. And then what I am doing, this is the thing I am doing, which is basically just calling this, and this is the thing that's processing the collision and blah blah blah. So, but yeah, I don't understand why like this line is getting called so many times. Let's try again. So yeah, let's go to any planet, whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, so you can see here, line number 94 was called twice. 94 is on trigger enter. So why is that the case? That's something I don't understand. It's really weird. So, oh yeah, you know what? I'm going to check the actual name of the collider that's triggering that, because I might just be really stupid, and maybe that's something that's logical to happen, because I have multiple triggers in the system, like the yeah, whatever. Let's see what happens here. I don't know though, because the Starship has has a couple interaction areas, but those don't really have any filter tag to collide with the planet area. So yeah, I don't. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, it's this one, the physics thing. So it's the same one. It's being detected multiple times. I don't know why. I don't really know why that's happening. So you can see here the physics interaction area has this circle collider there. So if I go out, I go in, enter gets called once. I go out, exit gets called once. And I can do this like however many times I want. But as soon as I like and this works like perfectly if I make it like if I do it manually. But for some reason, when the actual like starship starts moving really fast, it gets broken for some reason. So yeah, I don't know. It's really weird. I think it's something. Might have something to do with the Unity engine not handling well the collisions at high speeds, which is really annoying because I don't know. Collision detection continuous. Interpolate. What happens if I disable that? Yeah, that happens. It looks really clunky. So yeah, you can see how it moves, like the rate. It doesn't move smoothly. It does like something like tack 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 tack. It doesn't move smoothly if I disable interpolate, which is really annoying. That you have to use this. You can see now it's a lot smoother now. So let me show you. Like it doesn't stutter at all. But then what happens if I set the collision detection as discrete? Let's see what happens there. I don't know, it's really annoying. Okay, whatever happened here, let's see. Okay, yeah, it got called like a bunch of times. Let me try something because I might know why that is the case. Let me just try something here. Oh, and also I have to turn to change this thing because my processor, like you can see here the actual temperature. 85 degrees is crazy. So I just set it to some manual settings so that it doesn't overheat that much. So let me try something here. I'm going to grab this planet and put it like outside of whatever, okay? And I'm going to try to enter here. Okay, got called once there again. Okay, perfect. Okay, now what happens if I go into hyperspeed there? Yeah, it works perfectly. So yeah, I think I know what's happening. And it's really annoying. But let me try one more thing. Yeah, I think I know what's the issue here. Let me go here and set this to rigid body 2D, and I'm going to set it to, okay, did it fall? Is it falling? No, it's not falling. So I'm going to set it to kinematic. Okay. And whatever, I'm not going to bother with it. Now, if I go to any planet, for example, okay, detected. Now, what happens if I do this? Nah, it's still broken. I don't really know what to do, man. It's really annoying. In my prototype, the debug logger prints also the frame ID, the current sequence number of the frame. Yeah, the thing is that what's really happening here is that so I can ignore this at all, like entirely. I can just ignore this and just keep like working on this, because this doesn't like is not like stopping me from implementing what I have to implement, okay? Because the collision detection is happening and all of that is working perfectly. The thing is that, let me see if I can show you something. So this is the starship, okay? So okay, this is the starship and this is the planet, okay? Now, for the parallax effect to work, what I have to do is move the starship, like when the starship moves, well, not the starship, but actually when the camera moves, okay? And it's the same because the camera is locked in the starship, but whenever the camera moves with the starship, the planets are going to also move, so that it looks like planets are moving at a slower rate, okay? That's basically how parallax works, okay? So planets are not still like in the far background. They are in like, they are basically moving with the camera, but at a different rate. Okay, so if the camera is moving at, just to say, for example, the camera is moving at 15 units per second, then this thing is going to move at some rate that's divided by some value. So that's the parallax system I have. So this ends up moving at, for example, 10. So that means that this moves faster than this, and that is what gives the effect that this is getting closer and closer and closer, but moves slower. So it gives the impression that this is in the background, okay? And the area is moving with the parallax. Exactly, that's what I was trying to get to. So the area is actually the collider, like the trigger. Well, it's cyan, so I should. So the trigger is like the circle that detects like the starship. So when the starship start moving really fast, this is also moving really fast, okay? And everything in the scene is moving really fast. That's the thing with the parallax system. Now, it's not a problem because I'm not going to have a lot of things, okay, in the background. It's just for visual stuff. But the problem is that when this is moving at a really high rate, and also this is moving at a really high rate, the thing that happens is the starship also has the interaction area, so that both of these are moving really fast and they are trying to catch up. So visually they look like they look fine. So in the game you look you can see them and it looks fine, but in the code, in the actual physics engine, what's happening every frame is this. So this moves inside and then outside, and then inside and then outside and then inside. So the code is not the physics engine is not too fast. It's not that fast to be able to detect that this is like here and it's not moving back. So I think that's what's happening. So that's why the exit and enter and exit and enter is getting called a bunch of times, because this, like, it's catching up like this, and whenever like it gets here, it's not getting out. So it gets called like a couple times, like exit and enter, but then at this point it's not exiting anymore. So I was thinking that the area in the parallax runs away from the ship. Yeah, so that's exactly what's happening, but at some point the ship catches up to the area and enters, but between those frames the logic is not like catching up with what's visually happening. So in the actual what I explained, the actual physics engine is detecting, like, is processing it like it's doing this, so getting out and in, and then it gets here. So how the hell do we fix that? That's a good question, but yeah, I don't really know. Like, well, I'm thinking that maybe when you go into hyperspeed, like, so there's a couple things I could do, because of course when you're at a normal speed, like when you're at a normal speed, is there a flag to stop the parallax effect? No, there's not a flag to stop the parallax effect, but we don't want the parallax effect to stop. The thing is, if we were to stop the parallax effect when you're in hyperspeed, so imagine we're right now in the hyperspeed, okay? We're moving really fast. If I suddenly stop the parallax effect, this planet is going to go like really fast out of screen, like this. It's going to disappear really fast. So we're not going to be able to debug anything. And in fact, I just confirmed that when I move this thing out of the parallax system, it works perfectly at whatever speed. So it doesn't matter what speed the ship is moving at. This, like, the interaction area works perfectly. So the only issue is when you're moving at hyperspeed. So like, there's a solution I'm thinking about, and that is that whenever you're in hyperspeed, there should be like another area, for example, or something like that, like something like this that's bigger, that whenever you get to that area, or whatever, I can use the same area, so we can make the same area bigger, for example. So let's make it like this, for example. And whenever you're going to hyperspeed, when the starship enters, so the first frame, when you enter, automatically the starship stops the hyperspeed automatically. So this is something that I also thought about in the past, because I don't want the player to like, what's the expression when you go, like, you want to go to the planet but then you go like through and pass it. So I don't know the expression, but I think you get what I'm saying. So for example, in this case, I'm going there, I want to go to the planet above me, but if I don't stop in time, I go past by, okay, I pass it by. So I want the starship to actually stop when you are close to the planet. Oh, look there. There's a really tiny one. So whenever I get here, it should automatically stop the hyperspeed because we're near an interest point and we're going there. So I think that should be something that should fix it actually. Because whenever in the first frame that the ship, like that the planet area detects the starship, or I can do it the other way around. Whenever the starship detects the planet, then it automatically stops. That's it. It's a very immersive solution. Yeah, actually, yeah, that's really good. And I was also thinking about something that, for example, could be really good for players. That imagine that you can open up a menu like this, okay, to see like the star, for example, and you can see the orbits, okay, as always, and you see the planets, and I don't know. So you can see the orbits and you can see like other points of interest. Like for example, you can see like something here or something here or like a portal here. Okay. And let's say that in this screen, when you open up this like a terminal or something like that, okay, you have this little menu here that you open. And you can select something, and this is something that we already discussed, that the navigation was like this before, but I wanted the player to be free to navigate the space freely, okay, whatever they wanted to go. But also, if you want to go to a specific target without missing, because, for example, you can see that here, like, I am up here, okay, and sometimes when I rotate, like turn the starship, sometimes I can miss like the actual direction to the planet. So for example, I think, well, maybe I'm aiming there, maybe that's where the planet is. So I start the hyperspeed, but you can see I'm going like into any direction, like it's a totally different direction. It's not where I wanted to go. So I have to stop the hyperspeed and then turn around again and then go back to the hyperspeed again and blah blah blah. So to prevent the player to having to do that, all of that, which is hyperspeed, then correct the direction, the hyperspeed again, then correct the direction, the hyperspeed. So that's really annoying. I'm already annoyed by it as I'm testing. So I was thinking that something that could be really useful is to have this little menu that you can select an interest point and then select whatever, hyperspeed, and you select like the hyperspeed, and the starship automatically directs itself to that interest point and starts the hyperspeed, so that you go towards the actual perfect position of that interest point. Okay, so I think this is a really good solution to that. It doesn't have too much to do with the interaction area book we're having right now, but yeah. So yeah. I want to now so now implement landable interface in class. So for that, well, I'm just going to do this and I'm going to end the stream. So I'm going to end the stream soon. But I want to add this couple tasks. First of all, I want to go to the planetary system and add a new thing, okay, which is so planetary system terminal. You can open it while in space, and its purpose is to, okay, I don't know if you're able to hear that noise. You're able to hear that noise. Yeah, I don't know, but it's a really loud noise outside, so yeah. I'm just going to write this and end the stream. So, okay, so the purpose of the planetary system terminal is to show useful, show like okay, show more details about the system and planets, and select an interest point to navigate to it via hyperspeed. Okay, so that's pretty good. That's something we're going to be doing. I mean, we could even do it soon, like next week, for example. But yeah, first I need to actually finish the interaction thing, like the landing. So landable interface. What I need to do here is inform the entity lander that it can now land, and also prompt the landing object name / info and landing input to the player's UI. Okay, so that's what we need to do next, basically. Okay, that's going to be our next task, and I'm going to be working on that on Monday, next stream. So I don't know, I don't want to as always, I don't want to make promises, but I might be able to stream tomorrow, but I'm not sure. It's like, I would say 20% possible, 25% possible, but I'm not really sure if I can. I might use the day to just rest and play some games. But in the case I don't stream tomorrow, I will be streaming on Monday. That's 99% possible, because I don't know, something can happen, and I, like yesterday, that I couldn't stream because I had to work until late and I didn't have time to stream. But yeah, if everything goes normal, I will be streaming on Monday. Okay, then I'm not going to be available, I'm not going to be streaming on Wednesday, but I will be back on Friday, I think. So yeah, I think that's going to be the schedule for this next week. So yeah, I hope that's okay. But other than that, this is going to be the stream. That's going to be stream for today. Okay, it's really dark in here, but whatever. It's the stream is ending, and whatever. I'm so dark right now. It's like my hair is almost black. Well, it's pretty much black. My beard too. It's really funny. So that's the stream. Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Thank you for chatting, as always. Thank you for everyone who's watching on YouTube too, okay? And also thank you very much for the people that's subscribing to the YouTube channel. That's really good. We are getting some new subscribers there. That's, I don't know, I'm really happy with that. I hope we keep that pace, like that ratio of subscriptions and maybe more, I don't know, but I don't know. I'm just happy to have people interested in what I'm doing, and that's really cool. So, so yeah, I hope everyone has a good day, and that's gonna be the stream. Okay, so see you in the next stream. Thank you very much. Bye bye.